Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, the rectangle A has a perimeter of 60 centimeters and the rectangle B has a perimeter of 52 centimeters. Which system of equations can be used to find the value of X and Y? So what I'm looking for is a system of equations that represents the perimeter for rectangle A and rectangle B. So that's what I'm looking for, okay? And it says that perimeter for rectangle A is actually 60 centimeters and the perimeter for rectangle B is 52 centimeters, okay? And of course, they want me to find X and Y in terms of X and Y, right? So let's go ahead and look at my shapes. I have two rectangles, right? Now, there's one thing that I want you to think before we actually start, and that is, do I know what perimeter is it about? Do I know how to find perimeter for a shape, right? Because we need to know how to find perimeter in order to work out the problem, okay? So to find the perimeter, there's one easy thing that I tell students all the time. Perimeter is basically the sum of the sides of a polygon. And what they mean by the sum, it actually means that all you gotta do is add up all the sides, okay? So let's look at the first rectangle. So my first rectangle, I see a length for my rectangle, which is the expression 2x plus y, and I know the opposite needs to be exactly the same because in a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent and parallel, right? So I am going to write down 2x plus y because I know they're congruent. Let's go on to the width. What about the width? Well, the width is represented with x plus y. Therefore, the opposite side, which is also the width, right, has to be also x plus y. Okay? So I can take care of rectangle A and I can find the perimeter for that. And I can choose to do two things. Either I do my perimeter definition, which is just add up all the sides, or I can actually use a formula for that. So since we're trying to do a little bit more from the algebra point of view, we're going to do a formula. How about that? Promise you the second one, we'll do it adding the sides, okay? So let's do the rectangle A. So my formula says perimeter will be 2 times length plus 2 times width. That's one of the formulas, right? One. So I need to replace my some values, right? For example, what is P? P stands for perimeter. And you know what? Luckily for us, we do know the perimeter for rectangle A. It's actually 60, right? So we can replace P with a 60 and then move on to the rest of the problem or formula. Length. What's my length? Well, the length is actually the 2x plus y. Therefore, I am going to replace L with 2x plus y. There is a plus. Write down your plus sign. There's a plus 2, so I continue with a plus 2. Now, what about the width? Well, the width is actually x plus y. So I'm going to replace that w with x plus y. Okay, so this is what I did. This is the width, is what is represented with the width, and all of this is represented for the length. Okay, so let's go ahead and do distributive property, okay? Okay, so let's continue. I am going to write down my 60. Then I'm going to do distributive property. Anytime that I see parentheses, I need to do that, right? So I'm going to multiply 2 times 2x gives me 4x plus, now I'm going to multiply 2 times the y, right? And that gives me 2y. Plus, multiply 2 times x, and I get plus 2x. Multiply the same 2 times the y. Remember, you got to multiply both by the 2. Okay? So I get plus 2y. Okay? So what do I do next? We're going to combine like terms, which means can you see anything that can be combined? Okay, remember they gotta have the same variable, right? So for example, 4x can be combined with 2x. They're called combining like terms, right? So let's go ahead and combine those. So I get 60 equals 4x plus 2x gives me 6x, and 2y plus another 2y gives me 4y. So that will be my perimeter for rectangle A. If you look at the answer choices, you're already thinking like, you know what, A matches this one, but not B. I don't see anything for B, right? What about C? Be careful with that because we have 4x, and in my problem, I don't have 4x. We have 6x, so it can be that. And the second one is 2x on letter C. I'm not looking for those. I'm looking for 6x. So it cannot be letter C. What about letter D? Well, I do see the 60, 6x plus 4y. That matches. So hopefully the second one, now we have only two answer choices, right? So let's go to rectangle B. Now in rectangle B, I am going to identify my length, which is 2x minus 1. Therefore, the opposite should also be 2x minus 1. They're congruent, remember? Parallel incongruence. What about the width? Well, the width is represented with x plus y. Therefore, the opposite has to be also x plus y. They're congruent, remember? Okay, so as I promised, we're going to do rectangle B with the definition of a perimeter, which is just add all the sides. Okay, so I'm going to start with x plus y, which is way on the top. And I'm going to write down x plus y, but let's write down perimeter equals. Remember, that's how I start. So I have x plus y is the width from the top. I'm going to move to the 2x minus 1. So I need to add up 2x minus 1. And I need to continue adding the x plus y. And I'm going to add the last one as 2x minus 1. Okay? This looks like a long expression, right? But it's okay. We can still find what are the terms that I can combine. But before we do that, what about if we replace P? Because earlier we read that the perimeter for rectangle B was actually 52. So I'm going to write down 52 right here. And now I'm going to move to the problem and see who are the terms that I can combine. Well, I can combine that x, this x, and the last x. Notice how when I circle, I also circle the operation, the symbol. Because if it was to be a minus, then you got to keep in mind that you will need to subtract. Now, the problem might be, I don't see a number in front of the x, miss. What happens? Well, by now, hopefully we know that all I need to do is write down a 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Okay, very good. So we got 6 x's. What about the next one? Well, I can combine one y, because that's 1, and another y. We can write down the 1 if you wish. So that's actually 2 y's. So I'm going to write down plus 2 y's. And a minus 1 plus another minus 1 gives me a minus 2. Okay? So in the one on the left, we actually did the formula. On the right, just adding all the sides. Okay? So if you notice so far on this problem, there is a constant on the right side, which I do not need that. Because if you look at the answer choices, they only have x and y. So we need to get rid of the minus 2. How do I get rid of the minus 2? By adding 2 on both sides. Remember, whatever you do on one side, you do it to the other side. So 52 plus 2 gives me a 54. 6x, bring it down. And 2y, bring it down. And the 2 are going to cancel, right? So let's look at letter A. Do you see that on letter A? No, because I see a 53 and I do not have a 53. I have a 54. How about letter D? I know what you're thinking, Miss. It looks so much like D, but the 54 is like on the right side of the equal sign. One of the things that you can always do is you can switch the terms. So I am going to move 6x plus 2y to the left, and the 54, I can easily move it to the right. And now it's actually matching, right? So my answer should be letter D.